Mrs. Lane says that after forgiving her husband for years of indiscretions, she thought Mr. Lane had turned over a new leaf. Now she's worried she's married to the same old dog with a new bag of tricks. Today on Divorce Court. All rise. The Honorable Judge Starr presiding.
Hello, everyone. You may be seated.
Your Honor, the case of Lane v. Lane.
Thank you very much. Ms. Lane, Mr. Lane, welcome to Divorce Court. We are glad to have you, and we appreciate you trusting us with your relationship. Ms. Lane, according to my papers, you all have been married for 4 years. You've been together for 9 years, though. You have a 2-year-old son together. The plaintiff has 2 children from a previous relationship, and the defendant has 6 children from a previous relationship. This means this is a family that is very much intact, and the decisions we make today will impact for a long term. Am I correct, Mrs. Lane?
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Lane, why are we in court today?
I'm here today because, like you said, me and my husband has been together for 9 years, married for the last 4. For the first 6 years of our marriage, my husband had a real issue with infidelity, and now I think he's doing the same thing, and I'm just fed up. And if he still is, then he's going to be out the door.
And I see you brought divorce papers to court.
I did.
And you are ready for me to serve them if, in fact, you don't get the indication that real change can occur.
That's correct. Absolutely.
Mr. Lane, you heard what your wife said. What do you say, sir?
Well, Your Honor, I love my wife. I'm here to save my marriage, but my wife is not perfect. So in order for me to be a better husband, she has to be a better wife, and that has to be reciprocated. You know, we both got to put in some effort, not just me.
So you're saying that you think the marriage can be salvaged, however, it needs to be reciprocal.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's see where that is coming from, because Miss Lane got a smirk on her face like, I'm not feeling all this. Why don't you take me back to a time when you were? How did you all meet, and what got us to a point where we were in divorce court?
I met my husband at a hospital. At that time, he was a nurse, and I was working in housekeeping before I became a nurse. My husband's actually who pushed me through nursing school. Okay. I met him on the unit. We worked on the same unit. I mean, I fell in love since day one, but then very quickly, it was so many women throughout the hospital that he had already had affairs with previously. It was a mess from jump on.
So you met in the work environment, but that work environment had already been, shall we say, infiltrated.
Absolutely.
By Mr. Lane.
Absolutely.
Mr. Lane, from the time you decided to start being with Ms. Lane, did you stop all the other dating?
I didn't stop all the other dating.
Okay.
I still was seeing a couple people.
And Mrs. Lane didn't know that at the time. Is that fair to say?
She didn't know.
Okay. So we start off on a shaky basis. What goes on next?
I checked Paris a few times about incidents that I had found out about.
Got it.
And I let him know that it was unacceptable. But then we come across this woman that he had been having an affair with at the hospital for a long period of time, about 10 years, with his other relationships, that she had became an issue through our marriage.
So we're talking about somebody that was a long-term mistress, am I correct?
So this was like the main first big incident that happened with
How
this
long
woman.
after you all started dating?
For about 3 years.
Okay.
By then. And so this lady, like I had found out about her maybe 2 years in. However, she wanted to make herself known so bad that she was involved with Paris. And we
Of
all
course,
worked
that's called side chicks ain't loyal.
Right.
That's
And
it.
we all worked in the same hospital.
And she wanted to embarrass you.
Exactly. And he did too, okay? Because it was his loyalty to me. But he decided to one day, he gets up, acts like he's going to work. He puts on the whole scrub outfit and everything. He goes and meet this woman to take her to lunch, okay? Then this girl FaceTimes me right there with my husband. He knocks the phone out of her hand. And then instantly he was finna try and say it wasn't him. It wasn't him. Don't play with me.
Needless to say, you got caught in that situation.
Yes,
you
Your Honor.
straight up caught.
Initially, Your Honor, I told her that it wasn't me, but I felt that she didn't really see me on the camera. So I lied.
Yeah. So you compacted the infidelity with a lie.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
That's it. But you all were not married then. You were living together.
Correct.
How did you get through that incident of infidelity?
I left. I went to my mother's for a while.
Okay.
I eventually came back.
Did you promise that that was never going to happen again, Mr. Lane?
Yes, John. I promised her, bought her some gifts, took her on some dates. You know, I did everything that you're supposed to do when you make a misstep.
You charmed your way back in.
Yes, I did.
Yep, fair. Okay.
But this same woman, she had a child that she was saying was my husband's baby as well.
And you didn't know, obviously, because they had had a long-term relationship.
Absolutely. But all of something, I guess it didn't matter at
She
one
know that's
point.
not my child.
But then if it wasn't his child, he reached out to this woman a couple months ago, okay? Trying to figure out if this child was his after they weren't supposed to talk for years. Why are you calling this woman a couple months later, just now?
As I understand, Mr. Lane and you and the woman were going to do a DNA test, and then you decided not to. Am I correct, Mr. Lane?
That's correct.
Why?
Because the child didn't look like me to begin with, and then it was somebody else who
Do you know
ended
how
up-
country that sounds? I mean,
No, it
straight
was-
up country, and you from the Midwest, you're not even country.
And when we went to the woman's house to do the DNA test, and he's so foolish. What she wanted to do was, she wanted to swab the baby's mouth and swab Harris's mouth, and us leave, and her take the test on her own. So me and him got into an argument because I said, "Are you stupid? You don't
How
let
about
her
y'all
and
just
deal
go
with it."
to a regular lab, pay $150, and then get
No,
the
but
DNA
that's what
test?
he wanted to curse. Like, how stupid are you?
Absolutely. Why would you put yourself in that trick bag?
I wasn't thinking, Your Honor.
Okay.
But at the same...
That's not the first time. Okay. So, but y'all end up leaving without having any resolution to that question.
We did not.
And-
It was arguing, ongoing about it, and it still went on throughout our marriage. He's constantly, other women been texting, he's constantly been getting other numbers, but he thinks it's limited because he don't have sex. He's just talking to somebody. It's levels, is what he say.
Anything I do, she accuses me of cheating.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, somebody called my phone. I had gave my number to. I didn't consider that cheating. I didn't do anything with that girl.
In addition to this woman, you say same dog, new tricks.
Yes, ma'am. So apparently, and now this is more recent, he's constantly, other women been texting, he's constantly been getting other numbers. I've probably found 20 other numbers. However, but he thinks it's limited because he don't have sex. He's just talking to somebody. It's levels, is what he say.
My wife is very insecure. She can't get past, my past when I was a cheater. So anything I do, she accuses me of cheating.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, somebody called my phone. I had gave my number to, but I didn't consider that cheating. I didn't do anything with that girl.
So I want to hear, before we even get to what happened 2 weeks ago, you say your wife is insecure, but you've given her reason to be insecure.
But Your Honor, our breakdown our marriage is not totally my fault. I mean,
Okay.
I do everything. I pay 90% of the bills. I have to clean. I have to take the children to school, pick them up. I ask my wife, listen, if you're not going to take them to school, when I come home from work, have them ready. I come home from work, everybody in the house is knocked out asleep.
According to you, you're not having a full partner in your wife. Is that correct?
No, my wife is absent as far as doing her job as a wife and taking care of me as her husband. She not there.
That's true.
Tell me what's going on.
It has been that way for the last couple years. I went through a major depression,
Okay.
which I should not have put my family on the back burner, and I did. And I apologized repeatedly day in and day out for that to him, and thank him for him supporting me through everything that he did. Even with that, I can't get to that woman again that he know me as and doing all the things that I was doing to hold him down, because when I do want to get there, he hurts me.
It's very clear to me that the reason that you all are having tension is because there's such a lack of trust between you. Because this is an easily resolved issue. People have past, they have relationships that happened before they got together, but that's something that one sits down and discusses what the rules of the game are. You know what I mean?
Right.
Y'all been
That's
together
right.
long enough that there's no reason that you can't sit across. You both have had other relationships, their children from those other relationships, Why not just have a rules of engagement that you both agree
We do,
to?
but he breaks the rules over and over.
My wife is very emotional, and she always is out of control. Just one day when I was leaving for work after we had been arguing, I told her, I said goodbye to my son. I didn't say goodbye to her because we had been arguing. She comes out the house with a knife, cuts my tires, gets a bat, smashes my windshield. I couldn't even go to work. And it wasn't even about nothing.
It doesn't matter what it was about. That violence is not appropriate.
I understand. And I did
It's just not appropriate.
I did the windshield because he went missing and didn't
It does
answer
not
his
matter
call.
why you did it. I have to tell you something. There's never a time that violence is appropriate. You're never supposed to let somebody take you to a place where you're going to commit a crime. That's silly.
The end of last year, it was a woman texting him who he had been seeing, who he was texting back.
I'd like to see what we're talking about, please.
Yeah.
I want to be honest with you and tell you what he told me. He wanted to see me again. Did you confront your husband about this?
I did. I always confront him first.
So that he knows exactly what's going on.
Absolutely.
Mr. Lane, what is this about?
I don't remember that. I don't know what that is.
And Mr. Lane, clearly pushing her to that edge is damaging your family. I mean, 100%. And, you know, Ms. Lane, you've been telling me that there was some recent behavior that has just caused you to go apoplectic. So catch me up.
Towards the end of last year, it was a woman texting him who he had been seeing, who he was texting back.
I'd like to see this because I asked you to submit evidence. It's hard for me to put it in perspective. I'd like to see what we're talking about, please.
Yeah.
Quote, I will absolutely respect your marriage. This is from the other woman.
Yes, this is me and her.
I want to be honest with you and tell you what he told me. He wanted to see me again. He told me he got a divorce. Did you confront your husband about this?
I did. I always confront him first.
So that he knows exactly what's going on.
Absolutely.
Mr. Lane, what is this about?
I don't remember that. I don't know what that is.
And that's how much it be that he has instances where he's so absent-minded because he do so much.
But Mr. Lane, have you been cheating?
I haven't been cheating to the point where I haven't been going out with anybody or spending any time. I have got some numbers.
Why?
Just to see if I could get them.
How would you feel about your wife getting numbers?
I'd be upset, and we probably wouldn't be together if anything like that.
So you think that it's okay for you to text random miscellaneous women?
No, it's not okay. It's something I got to fix within myself.
No. That's just something that, honestly, I wouldn't put up with. You said that there's been like a final straw that happened.
The situation with this last young lady a couple weeks ago. Paris, when he goes to sleep, he sleeps really hard. And apparently he was texting her in the house, but he said he wasn't because his phone was on his chest and she was sending a message back to him. So I said, let me just go ahead and look and see. And sure enough, she's been working with him on the same units. I called the young lady and me and her had a long conversation. You know, she told me everything, you know, and then I even asked him to take the lie detector test.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have this in my notes, Mrs. Lane, that you petitioned the court for a polygraph examination and Mr. Lane declined.
Yes. Well, I didn't want something that's not, 100% conclusive and accurate to affect my marriage. So
I can trust and believe, no matter what that polygraph examination results were, your wife knows that you have been engaging in infidelity, texting women outside of your marriage, and have crossed the line. She knows that.
And my wife also knows. That's true. And my wife also knows that she hasn't been a good wife to her husband and really not there for her husband and to take care of me, talk to me, support me. So maybe when I get those numbers, I'm looking for something that my wife not giving me that she needs to start doing, that she hasn't been doing in the last couple years. And I've been doing everything basically by myself. So tell my wife to be a wife.
But how can I get to that point to be a wife if, like I said, you're steady, every argument is to put me down about how I've been the last couple years and everything else. When you know my state of depression, you know everything, you're there with me, you've seen everything I've been through, and then you add it to it. And he's very non-emotional. He'll see those things and it's like he don't even care. He'll walk straight past and keep doing what he's doing.
Is this the life that you want, Miss Lane?
I don't. I am tired. Like, I love my husband with everything in me, but I am tired. Like, I have given him everything. I have never, ever, ever stepped outside on my husband. Never. This is the same rodeo every time. He does the same apology, the same gift, the same flower, the same thing.
You need to get your mental health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, your physical health back in place. And you cannot do it with your husband. That's it. I will never tell a man or a woman to leave their partner. That's their decision. But I got news for you. If you want to get healthy, you may have to pull that scab off your body. You tell me what you want. You brought divorce papers to court. You said that you'd had enough of your husband's cheating and gaslighting. That's why you brought this case. Mr. Lane, you said you're not ready to end your marriage. And more importantly, this young lady, she gonna lose herself if she stays in a marriage that's making her this toxic, or you're gonna end up in jail, one or the other. What would you like me to do?
I mean, if Paris isn't gonna change himself, and I don't see like no drastic change, then yeah, I'm ready to leave. And I don't even know what he can say right now or do right now to even show me that there'll be any change.
So I'm gonna ask Corey to retrieve the divorce papers for me.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you so very much. I am looking at a divorce agreement. It is signed with your full name, Mrs. Lane. It is ready to go. What do you need to hear from your husband for me not to serve these papers?
I don't know. He needs to say what he feel I need to hear to fix it. I can't tell him. I don't know what I need to hear, but my heart is completely broken, so I don't know.
Mr. Lane, I want you to think real long and hard. Don't play with this girl. She don't. Don't play with this girl. If you cannot be the man that she deserves and that she needs, tell me to serve the papers.
I love you, and I'm gonna be better, and we're gonna work on our marriage, and we both have to work hard on it. But I'm gonna stop doing those things that I've done. So no, you don't have to serve me the papers. We're gonna work it out.
I don't know. Miss Lane, is that enough for you?
I love him, Your Honor.
I know you do. I know you do.
And I want my family, but I'm just scared, and I don't want to leave him.
I have your divorce papers in my hands. Knowing all that you know, given all that you've seen, knowing all that is ahead of you, what would you like me to do?
I'll try and do counseling with him one more time.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not offering marriage counseling because I don't think it works for you. I'm not going to lie. You can find marriage counseling on your own, but what I will not do is waste this court's time. Mr. Lane, that's why I was hoping that you would be a man and sincerely say, I'm tired of playing with your emotions. And until y'all are ready to do that, I don't think I've ever said this. You're on your own. Case is over.
Made in Georgia.